asked many a times before. It's like, why the hell do you go back and do it again for?
Yeah.
You know, so I want to ask you, after your experiences, what was it? You know, you shared a lot, you know, but that made you say, look, I've got to delve deeper. And then you're saying that you delved into, you know, DMT, acid, you know, and you didn't stop. What, you know, what is it? What is that about?
Yo, and that's the thing. And I find myself a lot of times when I'm on it, because I mean, I still practice today, and my mind has my same relationship with it. There is a very thin line between this person you see right now and the person that I become when I'm under the spell of when I'm opened up and I'm on that. Because what it does is it puts you at a certain vibrational rate that allows you to see nature. It's like some kind of trade-off, like because you're giving the psilocybin, which breathes oxygen, a host. You give the psilocybin the experience of human life. The psilocybin gives you the experience of having access to all nature, because you know that that's the biggest hard drive on earth, is this mycelium network.
That's right.
So when
Organic
you
technology, man.
exactly, when you have that parasitical exchange, it opens you up to the knowledge of all. You see the fabric of all. You understand and understand God real quick, and you have full function of your body and mind. And so when you come out of such a crazy experience like that, when you think back on it, you go, wait, hold on. If I didn't have a panic attack, because that's what's happening when you have a violent experience or a violent trip, to where, and I don't mean violent as in blood and guts, I just mean, very,
Challenging,
you
yeah.
seem to like, have any control, like you kind of feel like you lose control. That forces you to have a panic attack. And you know how bad attacks are for somebody that's sober. So imagine a panic attack that you would have if your world is now fractalized and everything you knew about yourself is, nothing. So what you realize when you come back is, wow, if I wasn't scared and I had more control, I would have had the time of my life. The things that I saw, I can't see here. When you're sober, the dullness of light. So when you come back from a trip like that and you come back to reality, you realize the repetitious redundancy of the loop that we're going through. And you realize sometimes, like, wow, like, some people get scared and they never go back. And to me, I explain that as like when you watch Raiders of the Lost Ark or Indiana Jones or any of these mummy movies, when you go into the pyramids or the tombs, there's always some traps at the beginning to keep you away from the treasure. And that's what that is. The mushrooms reveal themselves, and this is these are entities. They don't have arms and legs like we do, but these are entities, and you have to pass the levels. If you're scared, you realize real quick, it's just like a video game. Just because you lose the first time you go in, you're like, oh damn, I gotta try again. Because if you can, if you can control yourself, and if you can meditate and really extrapolate and go through the experience, you come back with gifts that are unforeseen by any man. I mean, the prophecy of God is there. That's the same space where the Bible was written. That's the same space where all the greatest art and Basquiat and all those people went. You realize, oh, that's there. I'm just having some kind of endogenous external relationship with it, because you can excite this in yourself naturally, but it's not going to be the same. Like when you have that, when it's not an alien experience, you almost have too much control. It's just like a really hyperbolic imagination state, which isn't as frightening. Because it isn't as frightening, it doesn't offer you new wrinkles sometimes. And when you submit yourself to God, to the nature, to God, it gives you new. It's like when you're thirsty, you need water. When you need the sun, there are these external elements that you need in order to have this experience. And realizing that these plants and this fungi, they offer you that's what I realized after I had these experiences. And then as you do them and as you practice, how to get out of having these panic attacks. And then it's just beautiful.
So, bro, on that note, I really have found that, especially when it comes to our people and the brothers, because we've been hardwired a certain way, and then we find it challenging to break those shackles off, you know, be fractalized and pixelated and so forth. And many, including myself, have had those panic attacks, you know, the shifting of your reality from what you think you know to, you know, the rug being pulled beneath your feet. So I'm always keen to give, you know, people support and understanding. So how do you navigate that? How did you navigate that, going from, you know, those experiences, having a panic attack? You know, you didn't physically need to end up in hospital. Obviously, it wasn't a physical challenge, but what was it mentally, and how have you navigated that moving forward? And what support, advice could you give brothers, sisters, others going through the motions?
Well, the first thing is, you know, there were certain fears that I had just as a human being. And to me, after going through such psychedelic experiences, when I view any human that hasn't had such reality shattering experiences, I see them as completely innocent people that have no idea what's going on to a certain degree. Because it doesn't matter how old you are, how many times you've been through prison, and how much, you know, how much experience you've had here, until you get hit with the understanding of what reality is, when we're talking about our hands, the animation of seeing this realm, this actual space that we're in, that right there is basically what you're going to be faced with, is the true nature of reality. So I would say the first thing I would tell people is to you know, I wouldn't approach this if you're a kid, if you're a child. So I'll wait until you're a healthy adult. If you are a child and you've already started doing it, then follow the same instruction. It comes down to setting first. So you don't want to go into this if you have a chaotic day or a chaotic week. You want to make sure your body is clean. So you don't want to do this after eating, cheeseburgers and pizzas. I would do it during a fast. Comfortable clothes. Turn your cell phones off. Um, have only people around you that have done it, that you trust around when you do it. There isn't much preparation. I mean, when what we're talking about is something that everybody who's ever done it has tried to explain and failed. The greatest linguist and the greatest artist in the world only can give you a piece of it. This is what wrote the Bible. So I would say you have to have respect for it. You have to. This is not a drug. This is not a drug. This is not for fun. This is it. This is it. This is literally it. You know what I mean? It is the food. It is the food. So for me, when it comes down to fighting the anxiety attacks, I usually have groundings. I'll write a list of my name on it. Things I love, things I want to manifest, remember to breathe, everything's fine. It's a normal day. Little reminders like this will keep you in track. Keep something like that, a piece of paper on you to remind yourself who you are. Like I said, have an anchor there that won't let you run around the streets naked, because you might feel like taking off your clothes. You realize that these things are blocking you. You know what I mean?
Sure, for
These
sure,
are
for
weird
sure.
objects. You realize that
Yeah.
you'll feel natural, and then you look around and you look and realize that there's a sidewalk and you're not really in nature. Like, oh my goodness. So I would say, yeah, like, and don't try to get anything out of it. Don't try. Just allow. I call it willfully drowning. Submit
Yeah.
yourself to it. If you fight it, it's gonna win. If you fight it,
Mm,
it's gonna win. Submit. Nobody dies. You're not gonna die. That's the first thing that I say. You're
yeah.
not gonna die. Right. First of all, I was at first stay away from LSD. Right now is very unstable. I don't know who this you. I would say mushrooms are the best way in, because it's the most natural at first, and you would need to take pounds and pounds and pounds of it to overdose. Which and that's the best way to go, is
Yeah.
mushrooms. and just know that you're not gonna die. And worst case scenario, just lay down and close your eyes. It's always best to lay down. It's always best to lay down. That first hour and a half is gonna be maybe nausea and sleepiness and yawning and uncomfortable. Your nervous system feels out of whack. You don't know whether to stand up or sit down. Then after that, whoo,
let the games begin.
is it.
No, nice one, bro. I really appreciate you sharing that, man.